Imagine for a minute somebody just came up to you out of nowhere and said, "Yo, man, take this bomb, go into that store, and just set it off and detonate it and kill everybody in the store." Would you do it? Of course not. Now imagine that an invisible entity is planting things in your brain to get you to do things of that nature, destructive things that you do you're not even conscious of. That's how the darkness works. Why? Because the darkness can't do these things on its own. It doesn't have that kind of power. I mean, you could get the mocking of the Trinity where you get those three scratches, on you, down your back or whatever. That's something different. But I'm talking about actually carrying out and executing physical action that causes just havoc and destruction. That's why people hear voices in their head and they hear these whispers, kill yourself, kill others. That's because you're tapped into something very low level and so low vibrational. So as a physical equivalent to that metaphysical energy, is going to try to get you to do crazy things to yourself and to others. It's the same thing if somebody came up to you and said, "Yo, man, take this explosive device. I want you to walk into that store across the street. I want you to detonate it and kill everybody in the store." It's the same thing. When you get these inclinations to do things, like you say, "I don't know what came over me, the devil made me do it." That's a lot of relevance to that statement. Because as much as you are light, you are dark. You can't get rid of your inner demons. You can transmute them into becoming an ally, but you can't get rid of them because it's intrinsically woven in the very fibers of the nature of your soul. Because the universe is all things universal. It isn't just one or the other, it's all. And a lot of stuff you won't be able to comprehend. But the truth is that once you get these inclinations that you can't describe where they came from, as I've said in another video, the high vibrational beings that you call angels, they'll always implant suggestive thoughts of motivation, inspiration, optimism, enthusiasm, positivity to get you to go create an invention or go write a song or go help somebody. That's why you're sitting around like, this thing just came into my head. It just popped into my head out of nowhere. Nothing just comes to you out of nowhere, folks. You got to get over yourselves. Trust me. These are being deliberately sent to you in the hopes that you act upon it and do something with it. Like, for example, you could be sitting watching a television show and this invention comes on. You're like, "Yo, I had that invention 10 years ago." You did, because that information, the idea was sent to you, but you chose not to do anything with it. So it was taken away from you and given to somebody else who did something with it. So there you go. The angels will give you high vibrational suggestions, ideas, in everything, information, fully completed songs, inventions, concepts, drawings, visualizations, whatever, in hopes that you act upon it and carry that out through to fruition in doing something productive with your life and helping yourself and helping others. That's the intention behind it. But conversely, the antithesis is spoken of the other side of you. They're not going to be putting things of a good nature, say, be positive, encourage yourself, motivate, inspiration, optimism. They're not going to go that route. They're going to tell you, kill yourself, kill others, do something crazy, rob that person, hurt that person, and even more unspeakable things. That's where that stuff comes from, because you're a conduit for all things universal, because source is the source of all things. I've said it a million times. It isn't coming, the devil's going to make me do it. And Jesus is going to help me. No, there's no such thing as Jesus and the devil. Those are, how do I put this? Jesus is the embodiment of the love, light, and peace that is source. Whereas what you refer to as Lucifer or Satan or the devil is the embodiment of the darkness, the evil, and the malevolence that is source. It's all one. There's no division there. It's just an infinite ocean of energy that is a diversified ocean of energy. Everything goes on forever in every direction. And in that infinite ocean of energy, you can make anything happen, good or bad, positive, negative, light, dark, whatever it's all there. It's choices. It's not sides. It's not polarization. You're consciously choosing what you wish to do with your energy that is given to you by God. I wish to build my life and make it better, or I wish to destroy my life and make it worse. Up to you. It's all on you. With regards to these voices that you're hearing, they're real. They're inaudible, meaning you can't hear them like you're hearing my voice, but you can hear them because you obviously they're trying to coerce you or dissuade you or convince you to do something horrible. And sometimes those voices become overwhelming, that all you hear is this them screaming or whispering, whatever they're doing, because you're tapped into something malevolent. That's there. So it's up to you to just start connecting to something that is of an opposite nature as to what that is triggering these voices. That's how you flush them out. Because the darkness cannot exist where there is light, because where there is darkness, there shall always be the light. So you have to take that space that they're occupying, called your sacred space, that you call your imagination, which is not imaginary, by the way, because they've contaminated your imagination with fear. That's where this is all coming from. I only point to the head because you're used to thinking that everything's here. Because the truth is, I can't point to your inner sacred space because it's the everything of everything. So I know you get that part. But the voices that you're hearing, they're real. They're not imaginary. You're not, conjuring them up out of nothing. You're not going crazy. You're not a lunatic. They're real because just like that guy with the bomb is trying to get you to do something terrible, the angels are trying to get you to do something good. It's up to you where you're going to put the roots of your soul. Me, I'm cognizant of evil. I'm cognizant of the fact that I am as much evil and darkness as everything else in creation, but I choose not to put my energy there. So therefore, I don't empower it. I don't give it force. I don't give it control. I don't give it energy over me. I control. But I'm cognizant of the proximity of these things being a part of my collective. Yes. I'm not playing a delusional game like I'm incapable of being negative. I don't have darkness in me. I can't be evil. Everybody is. If you think you're not, you're just fooling yourself. That's where your conflict arises, because you're trying to run contrary to the nature of God. That being said, when you hear these voices, kill yourself, kill others, do this, do that, that's real stuff. You could be in the kitchen and you just look at a knife and you hear this voice, stab yourself, kill yourself, go ahead, do it. That's because there's a malevolent entity right there, wants to see if they can get you to do it, like that guy with the bomb that wants you to walk across the street and blow up that store and kill everybody. That's how they roll. That's how energy rolls. Think of these as evil people without bodies. Then you'll understand clearly what's going on. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there, but you can sense them because their presence is very, very prevalent. Very heavy, suffocating, dense, very laden, almost like 1,000,000 tons pressing down on you. You could feel that they're there, man. The atmosphere changes. The environment becomes completely dark and totally eclipsed. If you want to see how fast things can go from light to dark, watch a happy movie or just watch a couple of seconds of something positive. On a YouTube channel, watch a documentary about puppies, right? And then go click on something satanic and you watch how through your phone, which is a door, it's like a portal, you watch that energy flood and fill the environment that you're in with heavy, dense, laden darkness. And the atmosphere changes like that. And then you can feel it, man. I used to watch all of those shows. Was it Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventurers, and everything? I didn't know what I was doing. Every time I turned on the channel, my whole room filled up with this heaviness. I'm like, whoa, what? I couldn't understand it at first, but I knew something was up. I used to watch all those types of shows. And then, one day I just, somebody said to me, you know what you're doing, right? I was like, no. She said, once you click on that channel, you're opening a portal and allowing all of that stuff to come in, and then you're bringing it into your existence. And then it saturates you, and then you project it, and the experiences you receive are more of the same. That's what it gets you to do. But once evil occupies your house, it doesn't just go away. It gets you and your family to fight each other because it incites violence and instigates arguments. And it wants to elicit responses from you of a negative nature where you guys go at each other's throats. That's what it feeds off of. Evil induces the very fears from which it feeds because the darkness has no power. Remember that. It implants this hateful seed in the hope that you germinate it and you cultivate it and you harvest it on your own, knowing that once the time comes, it will reap that reward from you in the form of the negative energies that you're projecting out because they feed off of it and they harness it. They're siphoning your high vibrational energy. These are vampiric, parasitic leeches. They give nothing in return. Nothing. The only thing they're going to give you is grief and aggravation and violence and frustration and argumentative conflict. That's the only environment that they can operate in properly. You cannot place a demon in heaven. They can't exist there. But angels can go and venture into hell to save souls because Jesus Christ goes into Jesus Christ goes into hell all the time to save souls. Now, obviously, I have to use the fictitious biblical character named Jesus Christ because there actually is no name. But I think you get the gist of where I'm going with that. But there are some souls that have been deemed far beyond redemption, and those souls are destroyed. In that instance, energy is destroyed by God. Energy can be destroyed, but the only one that can do it is Source. But when you hear those voices, that means you're tapped into something that's a vibrational equivalent to the malevolence that is the catalyst of these things. So you got to check yourself. What is it that I'm doing that's causing me to stay connected to something that allows them to come into my sacred space and contaminate my environment with malevolence? Whatever it is. Perhaps people you're hanging out with, or perhaps types of patterns, or perhaps you're addicted to a substance. Anything. The darkness always looks to prey on everything, man. Your addictions are a weakness. You know, your obsessions, your compulsions, your infatuations, things you were yearning over, things that, you know, all of these patterns and habits and routines that you follow. That's all low vibrational. That's why people, when they get angry with themselves, they eat. The food is a coping mechanism. That's low vibrational. How the darkness works is like a predator, like a lioness on the Serengeti, looking for that weak, isolated little prey to pick out from the herd. And that's what they pick off. And that's how they see you. Because when you're weak and isolated and afraid, you're vulnerable and you're alone and you're low vibrational. So it's easy for them. It's easy pickings. This is a predatorial instinct you're dealing with, and you're its prey. To put it simple, that's it. So when you hear those voices in your head, they're very real, and you're not going crazy. You're not a lunatic, and you're not going out of your mind. You just have to say to yourself, what is it that I'm doing to myself that causes these things to happen? What am I connected with? Or who am I connected with? Because it's also the people that you're hanging out with that have those malevolent demonic entities wrapped around them, that are surrounding them and wrapped around them. And if you're constantly hanging out with them, you're connected with that. And if you're having intimate relations with people who are into some dark stuff, that's sexual soul ties. That's even a deeper and stronger connection that virtually cannot be broken. So you have to analyze your life. Why is this stuff happening? But if it's happening, allow it to make you understand that there's elements inside you that need to be closed off to the darkness for good, so you can move forward. As I always say, my road to heaven was paved through every inch of hell, but I choose to never carry the shadows into the light that I praise. And that's straight truth. That's putting it as bluntly as I can. My journey has been what it's been to take me to where I am right now, to help you, help yourself, and help others. And that's the reason why I'm here. One of the reasons. And I hope I'm doing my job very well. But I'm going to cut it short with this in saying that you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're always loved. You always have your guardians and your angels and your spirits want to help you. You just have to be willing to be in receipt of that help. You have to be willing to receive their help. Because what happens is the egocentric darkness gets your pride to block the blessings of God, whether you realize it or not. And that's when they got you dead to rights, man. Straight truth. So work on being vulnerable to the light, at the same time shutting yourself off to the darkness. You can do it. You just have to know that you can, because you have it inside you. God knows you do, because God's not going to give up on you for a reason, because God knows your full potential that you haven't even realized in yourself, let alone activated. God bless.